Welcome to Ship Asia channel. I'm Hugh Hoang, test designer at Ship Asia, and today we'll talk about one of the key aspects of software quality assurance, which is regression testing. As software systems becoming more complex, especially in fast-paced agile environments, ensuring that new updates don't break existing features is critical. That's why regression testing is becoming increasingly important. So, what is regression testing? Defined in ISTQB glossary, regression testing is a type of change-related testing to detect whether defects have been introduced or uncovered in unchanged areas of the software. Simply put, regression testing checks if recent code changes have negatively impacted existing features. It's not just about finding new bugs, but ensuring that features that were working perfectly before remain unaffected. Now here, do not confuse it with retesting. Retesting, or in ISTQB glossary, confirmation testing, is basically retesting a bug that got fixed to verify fixed defects, while regression testing verifies the rest of the software remains intact after the bug is fixed. You can see the difference, right? So if it's not retesting, then when do we perform regression testing? Literally when there's a change. It could be a simple bug fix, a code change in the code, to adding a new feature, library update, or even if we change the environment. Saying that, it can happen at any level of testing, from unit to integration to system, and even acceptance testing. I usually say that there's no perfect code. That's why we need regression testing. Every time we make a tiny change in one area of the code, this tiny change could potentially break unrelated areas and create unexpected results. And those could lead to unforeseen issues, and that's where regression testing comes to save the day. Imagine you're adding a new login option to your website login function. For example, login via Facebook, besides the existing one via email. This action may affect the existing login function, and without regression testing, you might miss this issue when releasing to production. Before I continue to demonstrate how to perform regression testing, here are the 3 main steps you should know. The first step is to identify the scope of impact from the change. We should narrow down to which existing features or which area of code that possibly be impacted. You could discuss with other roles such as developers, business analysts, or project manager for more context and thorough investigation to have the decision. Secondly, we should prioritize which features to test and to what extent. Why? Simply because we cannot afford to test the whole system every time. This is why there's no fixed suite for regression testing. Each one varies by context. And finally, run tests on the features based on the priority we have set. Okay, so let's get down to business. Every test starts with a good test case. Before we even begin regression testing, it's essential to have a solid set of test cases in place. 1. Write the first test case of the software. 2. Build up the test cases. 3. Manage and organize the test cases. 4. Manage test results of the test cases. And 5. Keep the test cases up to date with the software. Okay, let's break it down using an example from Ship Asia's website, focusing on 3 pages: home page, company, and contact page. Here I have a simple version of a test case template. In real projects in Ship Asia, we apply more complex test case. As you can see here, we have test cases for home page, contact page with section contact form, company page with section, company history, and contact form. These test cases evolve over time. For example, if we change phone number field from optional to required, we will update the test case accordingly. Similarly, bug fixes or new features will require adding new test cases and selecting the relevant ones for regression testing. As you can see here, we have test cases for homepage. Let's take a few scenarios to understand this better. Scenario 1, minor logic change. Take an example of the contact form. As you can see here, contact form exists in both contact page and company page. The form has two fields. Business email is a required field, and phone number is an optional field. We have a change requirement here to update phone number from an optional field to a required field. After making the change, we'll update our test cases and run regression tests to ensure that new logic works as intended. Take an example of the contact form. As you can see here, contact form exists in both contact page and company page. The following test cases are selected to run the regression testing. So in contact page, we will select the case that visitor can fill and then submit their contact info. And we also select the other case of business email is a required field. We also selected the same two cases in contact form of company page. The following test cases are selected to run the regression testing. Scenario 2, bug fix. Let's say that after running the test in the previous scenario, we found a bug, which is business email is not a required field as it should be. Now, after the dev team fixed this bug, we will retest the bug fix and perform regression testing with other test cases to check if anything else was impacted by this. This test case is used to check the bug fix. Business email is a required field in both contact page and company page. The following test cases can be selected to run regression testing. So in contact page, we select visitor can fill and then submit their contact info. And the second case should be phone number is an optional field. The same two test cases should be selected for company page. The following test cases can be selected to run regression testing. In contact page, we select visitor can fill and then submit their contact info. And the second case is phone number is a required field. Note that this test case is updated based on the test of scenario 1. We also selected the two same cases in company page. Scenario 3, new functionality. Now in this scenario, we want to add a new feature into contact page, for example, a map section. New test cases are created for the new section. So we add a new test case to check that map of Ship Asia company is shown correctly. Assuming this change impacts the whole contact page, the following test cases can be selected to run regression testing. At the top of contact page, visitor can fill and then submit their contact info. Business field is a required field, and phone number is a required field. Scenario 4, library update. To take an example of updating front-end library for the website, we can discuss and decide the scope of regression testing based on all the existing test cases so far. For example, the following test cases can be selected to run regression testing. So we select all the test cases in homepage. We select some test cases in contact page that it is displayed normally and visitor can fill and then submit their contact info. We also check that map is shown correctly with Ship Asia company position. In company page, we select the case that company page is displayed normally. We also check the company history section, and visitor can fill and then submit their contact info in contact form. As software grows in complexity, manual regression testing becomes time-consuming and prone to human error. Automated regression testing is absolutely helpful. Without automation, manual regression testing can turn into a bottleneck. As the number of test cases increases, it takes more effort to manage and execute them all. Assuming that ShiftAsia web page is constantly updating with new pages, adding new blocks of content, the web page will exponentially become larger and more complex, as well as the number of changes and test cases. It will require more and more effort to carefully manage and execute regression testing. And also, we want to avoid the snowball effect here, not to leave any small issue becoming out of control. Automation helps us run tests faster, more consistently, and at scale. At ShiftAsia, we use several automation tools and frameworks for automating regression test cases. Selenium. This is a long-standing and extensive tool, widely used for testing web applications. It supports multiple operating systems, browsers, and programming languages. As an extensive tool, you can create customized framework to specific needs. But remember that maintaining customized framework can require some effort. Cypress. This is widely used for testing web applications that use modern front-end frameworks. Setting up this framework is quick, and this framework is developer-friendly with JavaScript or TypeScript support. It supports automatic waiting, debugging directly in developer tools, and has a built-in time travel tool which captures snapshots at every test step. Typically, it runs faster than Selenium. Playwright. This is a new testing tool for web applications that is becoming more and more popular. Setting up this framework is quick and developer-friendly too, with support for some popular programming languages, TypeScript, JavaScript, Python, .NET, and Java. It supports automatic waiting, debugging directly from Visual Studio Code, and an automation code generator from recorded test steps. Typically, it runs tests faster than Selenium. Appium. This is a popular choice for testing mobile applications. It supports Android and iOS and multiple programming languages, JavaScript, Python, Java, Ruby, and .NET. Please note that setting up this framework will require extra effort. Besides that, CI/CD tools such as GitHub Actions, Azure Pipelines, and Jenkins can be used to automatically trigger execution of regression testing on each deployment or release. Is there a future for regression testing? Absolutely yes. But in my opinion, the future of regression testing will be automation-driven and smarter. With advancement in AI and machine learning, we could see tools that automatically generate tests based on requirements, select the best test cases for a given change. Also, tools that can quickly analyze the scope of impact based on the changes and select the necessary test cases. Furthermore, with low-code or no-code automation, tester team can automate test cases without extensive coding knowledge. So that's it for today's video about regression testing. Regression testing is crucial to maintaining software quality. Whether to manual or automated testing, staying proactive helps ensure that changes don't break your system. At ShiftAsia, we continuously refine our regression testing processes to deliver the highest output. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. See you in our next